What's up? I'm Leah. Thank you so much for stopping by. Today we're talking about, do narcissists hoover even after they've been blocked or even after 20 years? Let's talk about it. Very important question. Thank you to all of you, by the way, subscribing and commenting, because that's the whole point of this, is that we can be in community and rise above anything that's holding you back so that you can share your gifts and talents with the world. Because if not now, when? When are you going to do it? So this comment came from Soft Fuzzy Blanket. What a great channel name, by the way. It's so comforting. Thank you, Soft Fuzzy. Take two. Soft Fuzzy Blanket. Soft Fuzzy Blanket, most comforting subscriber ever, writes, what if you've blocked them on every single outlet and they know you don't want anything to do with them? Will they still try to come back eventually? Soft Fuzzy Blanket, thank you for that question. I really appreciate it. First, let's talk about what is a Hoover, just in case you don't know. It's not just a vacuum cleaner. It's a vacuum cleaner, but not only that, now it can be a narcissist and they can suck your soul dry. You're welcome. So what a Hoover is named after the Hoover vacuum cleaner. And oh my God, am I gonna start a fire over here? Okay, watch out everybody. It's named after the Hoover vacuum cleaner because it's what narcissists do as a manipulation tactic to get you back into their lair of lint and disgust and shame. It's a fun, delightful bag of vacuum dirt. So that's what it is. They hoover you back in. Say they've lost control of you. And so this is a manipulation tactic to gain control, to see the temperature on where you are with them. The short answer is yes. Even after you've blocked them on everything and they know you don't want anything to do with them, they still can come back and hoover. Isn't it great? But this is why you go no contact. And I know you're like, but Leah, you just said even if you go no contact, they'll still hoover. Yes. But when you're no contact, you don't know. Of course, they come up with fake emails. They will troll you. They will do all sorts of things to try to defame you. They'll do all the smear campaigns, but they are constantly hoovering you. The hoover never really stops. See, they think of supply like we think of TV shows. So you're just an old series that they enjoyed at one point. And so when they're binge watching their new supply and they can't get enough of that new series, the series premiere was so hot and heavy and they're so into it, they're so excited. And this could be for anything. It doesn't necessarily need to be a romantic thing, right? It could be friends or business, like, oh my gosh, this person is amazing. So they're in the love bombing, binge watching of the new supply. And then once that gets old, because it always does, maybe they just aren't as entertained as they were once with that show. And so then they look for new season premieres because this is how people use their remote control. So they look for a new season premiere, and then if they can't find one, they go back to the old rerun. I'm sorry that you're a rerun, but in this case, you are. And in this case, they are, because it's always a rerun with them. It is the same script over and over and over again. So really, it's a constant hoover. There are many different types of hoovers. They can be very covert about it. Social media has really been a blessing for narcissists because now they can just look at the direction book for a lot of people, because essentially you're writing an instruction manual on Facebook. A lot of people are. Like the ex-narc I was dating, one of the ex-narcs. I don't mean to brag about all the narcissistic abuse that I've endured, but this is what makes me an expert on this. And that's why I want to share and help people, and also not get burned. Not get burned by the narcissist or the candle. So I remember when we were dating, I would notice this peculiar behavior on Facebook, right? Anytime a cute girl would have heartbreak or something like that, like, oh, another one bites the dust, he lied and cheated, I guess I'm gonna be single forever, he would jump on and ever so covertly, just a simple, uh-oh. And I thought, oh yeah, uh-oh. Uh-oh is right. See, that is a hoover. Now, if it's you and you've been no contact, that might come from a troll. If you've blocked them, that might be flowers that just show up on your doorstep. And they might say it's from them, or it's anonymous. See, because they're watching you from other accounts. So that's why it's really important never to do things in real time. Like, don't do the post that's like, I'm at a restaurant all by myself, who would like to join me? I'm always amazed at the level of openness people have on social media with very dangerous scenarios like that, especially women. I mean, let's face it, it's very dangerous. So please don't do that. Be smart, because they will just happenstance show up because they've been watching you through troll accounts if you block them, and they will show up. I have had narcissists come back after 20 years, and not just one, not just two. Like I told you, I'm an expert in narcissism because I've had a lot of abuse. It's also woken me up. It's late right now, but it's waking me up to how to navigate this so that you don't have to keep going down that same path over and over and over again. Why should you listen to me? Because I could save you years. I could save you time. I could actually save your life. I am a cancer survivor. I'm a business owner. I've been an entrepreneur for the last 11 years in my own business. For 10, I am a single mom, aka double parent. I have been attacked and attacked and attacked by so many narcissists. It's unreal. I had a brick and mortar business, a theater. And so of course, by nature in the entertainment business, you run into a lot of narcissists. So many narcissists that I had to do business with, that I would hire, that all sorts of different people. And then my students were being abused by so many narcissists. So I have stories for days on this stuff. But I remember being hoovered one time by an ex-narc who was just such a scary, not nice person, terrible temper. Here I have an anniversary show, and an opening, grand opening, because we had just moved spaces to this new theater. And as the show is opening, I'm getting all these messages from this person. Why won't you talk to me? Please talk to me. And the toilet overflows in this brand new space that I had never operated before. We had just moved in, new space, grand reopening for my business, have a full house of theater goers. And it's literally a shit show. I have got ex-narcissists hoovering me. I've got people upset and different, actors upset because they've been in a narcissistic relationship and somebody hurt them. And I'm trying to manage all of this and I am, and the audience doesn't even know what's going on because the show must go on. And then at 6 months pregnant, I'm sitting there waiting for the plumber. And you might go, what does this have to do with narcissists and hoovering? I'm telling you, because I'm a survivor, that stuff can take you out. It can take you out for the count because it's hard to juggle all that. It is really hard, but it's possible, and you can thrive on the other side of it. We all almost went down with the ship, but I decided to really look at this stuff because not only had I been a victim, target, whatever you want to call it, of a lot of narcissistic abuse and people pleasing and years of that, but then I had this theater, and a ton of the actors that I was working with had the same issue. And then I was being attacked by different people who weren't paying bills because they were jealous or defaming my character, all sorts of different things. So I'm telling you this not to stay in victim consciousness, but because I'm interested in finding the gifts and talents in you, because I know that we all have art within us. And this shizzle can get in the way. So the Hoover can get you in a lifelong cycle that you keep going back, keep going back, keep going back. If you have the type of narcissist that's a monogamous narcissist, that is actually a really dangerous kind because they latch on tight. They don't want to replace you. They don't want to go back out and groom somebody. So they will hold tight. And I don't care if you guys had a huge fight, you blocked them, you're not talking to them, they're going to stalk you. They're going to show up places and pretend it's happenstance. Like I've mentioned a million times, they're going to troll you. Why are we talking about this? Because it can steal your life. It can cause disease. It can be so harmful in so many ways. Resist the Hoover. They will use guilt tactics, right? Oh, they might even say that they had some disease. I was in a really bad way. I found out I had cancer. I had this one guy that I was dating who was constantly saying he had different forms of cancer. It was all a lie. You would never imagine that somebody would come up with this stuff because you wouldn't. But you have to start understanding that not everybody is like you. Not everybody has the empathy and that good nature of wanting to tell the truth. That's not how a narcissist operates. So I've had a narcissist come back after 20 years. And they might just come back super casually like, oh, hey, what's up? Miss you. Act like nothing ever happened. And this person had amnesia for what happened. Or they might come back and really hit it hard. I'm so sorry, I've changed. And see, they can gaslight you because your instincts might say, no, I don't care if it's 20 years, 50 years, they haven't changed. My instincts are firing and wiring, and I know who they are. But see, then you might gaslight yourself because then you might think, well, it's been 20 years and that's a long time and people can change and all of that. Let me just give them the benefit of the doubt and they're being so nice, and then you feel bad. Maybe they'll tell you somebody died, they'll prey on your empathy, they'll do all of that, guilt trip you. And if you bring up anything from the past, then they're going to use that against you for sure. Like that is so in yesterday. We got to be in the present moment, right? So they'll do all that and then some. Do not accept the Hoover. Every time they come back, it's worse, by the way, because it's like you're giving them permission to treat you all the ways they were, and then also to add on some new mistreatment. Because you're giving them the clean slate, because otherwise you're staying in the past, right? So in their mind, it's clean slate. And you're accepting that and allowing that. So why do they even come back after years, after blocking them? Well, again, they want control. They probably lost another source. They always lose another source. If they're happy with all their supply chain, they're not going to contact you. If they're the monogamous type, of course they're going to contact you, especially the minute they get divorced, the minute that they break up with somebody, they're going after you because they have to replace immediately. That's all narcissists. But if the narcissist has a huge supply chain going and a lot of people are in rotation, you might not hear from them for a long time, right? Because they're busy. They will come back. Another reason that they could come back, of course you have something that they want, but bigger than that, maybe you are doing great. Maybe you're feeling great. See, they don't like that. They want to leave you damaged goods. They like it when you're writing the sad posts and, oh my gosh, everyone's terrible. They like that because they're like, oh, good, damaged, and I'm on to the next, right? They're like, oh, I got a live one over here. And then they're looking for that on the other side because they're like, that's how I get my new supply. Got a live one. Oh, you're hurt? Uh-oh. I'll put her in line. I've got 5 or 6 in line ahead of her, but she's in queue, right? So that's what they do. They might come back to punish you because you blocked them. They'll punish you even if they blocked you, because how dare you make them do that? See, they don't take any responsibility, so it's all your fault. If they're unhappy, it's your fault. I'm not happy. I'm not happy with you. You're not making me happy, right? I've shared in past videos, I've had a lot of Hoovers, but my most recent, I'd say one, because I am like completely narc free except for in the world, but I don't have anybody close to me by choice, right? Actually, there are some people I have to gray rock with, but nobody that I'm in an intimate relationship with, like no close friends, nobody I'm dating, right? So the last person I was dating who was a narcissist, when I found out, I didn't know he was a narcissist, even though now I look back, there's a million signs about that he was a narcissist, right? But when I found out he had side chicks, that clued me in real quick. So yeah, I found out that the mother of his child was one of his side chicks. That's the other thing. Depending upon where you are in the supply chain, and you don't ever know where you are, by the way, because you might think, well, I'm grade A supply. I'm first in line. I'm the wife. I'm the girlfriend. Honey, you are not grade A. You are not the first supply. You might be, and you might not be. Because just like this guy said, this was the mother of his child, and she wasn't his first. It wasn't his main. It was a side chick. That's how I found out he had side chicks. So then I didn't know. So I was like, well, that's a bummer. And it was a real shot to my heart. But we ended it cordially. I was like, you know what? Okay, we weren't exclusive. We were just getting to know each other. So out of fairness to you, no harm. I just didn't know because I thought we were having like a genuine connection. I was starting to really like him. So when you're first dating, you assume everyone's dating other people, but I thought we were like starting to hang out a lot more, and I found out on a trip together, so I just thought we were getting closer. Any doodle McNoodle. So I told him, I didn't want to continue dating him, but if he ever didn't want to date a bunch of other chicks, side chicks and whatever, and I was still single, that maybe we could explore that. Okay, so we ended it cordially. So 2 months, no contact, but I didn't block him on everything. 2 months, no contact, and then he reaches out. And he's like, I think of you every day. My first instinct was like, oh really? Is that before or after your other dates? Or during? So sweet. Pitter patter goes my heart. But I squashed my instinct. Even though that was my first instinct, I felt really nervous. My nervous system went crazy for 2 days. I didn't respond because I was trying to reject the Hoover. I could feel that it was a Hoover. But then The gaslighting of myself got the best of me. So 2 days later, I sent back, what do you think about? And that's when I knew for sure he was a narcissist. Because then he texts back, you know what, just forget it. How about good luck? Have a nice life. Right? And I was like, oh, damn, he's a narcissist. But I went into my old people-pleasing thing because I wanted to believe and I wanted the Hoover, right? So maybe you can relate with that. Even if you've blocked and done all these things, sometimes you want the Hoover. I missed him. And I didn't know until that moment that he was a narcissist. So part of me also wanted to prove it wrong. So then I went into overdrive and was like, oh no, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to be rude. I think about you too. And then I started apologizing. Then he was like, well, maybe we have something here. And I think I don't want to date anybody else. And it was the biggest mistake of my life. And you're my dream girl. And can we start dating again? And so he did that just to pull me in and punish me, discard me like hard, right? And go with his other supply like immediately. Block me, discard me, blank face, black, splitting. And then went with the other homegirl and all his other supply. Now I see, because I didn't block all his flying monkeys and other supply, a lot of his other supplies now hurt. So first I see the big proud face of the chosen one girl. She's like, he chose me. I am the new supply. And I don't know if she knows that he's a narcissist, but she had that proud face. And I was like, oh my God, that's me. Because I thought I had been chosen. I was ready to have that proud face Facebook picture. And then you see that reflection of yourself. Don't accept a Hoover. And then now, a year later, I'm seeing all the flying monkeys and the random girls and groupies that he had around, that he would be like, oh, I'm not dating that girl. She's not even pretty. Well, that girl, I'm now seeing on Facebook really hurt. And she's, posting all the time about toxic men and stuff. I'm like, oh boy, she got hurt by him. Another one bites the dust. And that's why I want to talk about this. And then she gets happy and I'm like, oh, he hoovered her. So this Hoover cycle will go on in perpetuity. It will. Forever. Doesn't matter if you blocked them, doesn't matter if they blocked you, doesn't matter if they did the triple dismount, discard, cowgirl, reverse, Mercury retrograde on your ass. They're coming back. It's a matter of time. They feel they own you in some way. If you've had any connection with a narcissist, they do feel they own you. So whether that's a family member, friend, anything like that, they feel like they own you and you owe them something. That's why they'll always come back. They'll always come back. I had another narcissist come back and say, oh my gosh, and it's a script. You're the best, you're the dream girl. Or they'll guilt you. Why won't you come back to me? And then there's the funny ones that are like, I wish you would come back to me. You were such a bitch. I hate you. I love you. Come back. You're like, what? But they'll come back. And even when you block them on email and all that stuff, sometimes your email will filter it and sometimes you'll get the email that says, this is from a blocked email. You're like, oh, thanks. So they always do. They always do. They want a piece of that. If you're successful, they want to get a piece of that. If you're successful, they also want to tear you down. They get off on all that. See, remember, they really get high on manipulating your emotions. And I've said this before, a lot of narcissists will say, that's not true. Aren't you the narcissist, since you're talking about what we would do all the time to you? Isn't that very self-centered? See, they want you to stop thinking about it so that you can continue to get abused. They hoover you because they miss the particular brand of abuse that they gave you. See, each supply gives them something else. They're always testing the waters. They always want to get the temperature on everybody. And even if they don't want you anymore, even if they're really happy with their new supply or their chain of supply or whatever it is, they still want to see what the temperature is with you. Do you still miss them? Do you like them? Because see, that feeds them too. So sometimes they'll hoover you with no intention at all of starting up a new relationship with you. Zero. Either they want to punish you, they want to just see the temperature of like, does she or he still like me? Can I still get them? Could I disrupt their life if I wanted it? If I wanted that? Or do I want to choose this nice new shiny object over here? It's kind of like when you go shopping and you're comparing. They're always comparing you to all their other people constantly. And when you get discarded, it's because something in the new person they liked better and they're going to devalue you. And so then they can get rid of you. But then when they start missing you, it's because the other supply might not have what you have or do what you did for them or something like that. Or again, maybe you're doing well. They don't like that. So they're like, let me just see the temperature of this. Sometimes they'll come back because you're married and they want to see if they could mess up your relationship and have you end up in divorce, because they don't believe that anybody could truly be happy, because they're not. The happiest they are is at the beginning of a relationship during the love bomb. But they know it's inevitable that they're going to get sick of the person, they're going to get sick of you, they're going to get sick of everybody. So then they have to filter through. Another reason they might come back is because they got their feelings hurt somewhere else. And they want to come back for a little hit from you of good feelings, of validation or something. I've had narcissists come back and say stuff like that to me. They'll start devaluing their new girlfriend. Or she's just terrible and you're so much better and blah, blah, blah. I'm like, why are you calling me? Because they want to be validated. They want that source again. The best thing to do is to just stay no contact. See, I knew when I got hoovered last year that it would be best to just stay no contact, but I future faked myself and gaslit myself. Reject the hoover. Unless you're vacuuming, then just use it. Or the Dyson. Remember those commercials? Over 4,000 prototypes later, I had it. Over 4,000 hoovers later, I've got it. No more hoovers. They'll show up at events. They'll become friends with your friends. They'll do all sorts of things. Pretend like it was a happenstance meeting. They'll do anything and everything. Send flowers to your house because they saw that you were hurting on Facebook. They're like, oh, all you need is love. Isn't that sweet? And then you feel guilty if you're not like, wow, thank you. All right, it's really late. I gotta get some sleep. Hopefully I will be able to get this video to you. Let me know if you've rejected any hoovers. I promise it is so good to do it. Reject it. It almost has cost my life. One time I almost moved in, or I did move into like a gang-ridden area because I accepted a hoover. And this narcissist was like, oh, you should move here. And I completely went against every instinct in my whole body. And I moved to a gang-ridden, gentrified area. There were gang members everywhere and gunshots the night I moved in. It was horrendous. I was like, never again am I not going to trust my own instincts. Never again am I going to allow a hoover. And then I did with this one guy because he was a covert and he was different and I hadn't had that experience yet. But now, never again. Are you with me? Okay. I'll see you next time.